The support keeps rolling in for the PNP's presidential candidate, Mark Golding. He has support coming from every corner. Luther Buchanan, Floyd Morris, Joan Gordon Webley, all endorse Mark Golding for the presidency of the People's National Party. Former Deputy General Secretary of the People's National Party, Luther Buchanan, has confirmed that he will be supporting Mark Golding for the presidency of the People's National Party. According to Mark Golding's presidential campaign team, it is important that all speculations are dissipated about where the former Member of Parliament for East Westmoreland's support lies, and the signal is that the big tent that Golding has extended across the country for unity is resonating with all persons. Senator Morris has also thrown her support and endorsement behind the Mark Golding presidential campaign team. According to Senator Gabriella Morris, Mark Golding is a progressive leader. His organizational skills, his ability to unite the party, and his strong constituency base will be critical in repositioning and rebuilding the party. According to Joan Gordon Webley, she is in support of Mark Golding because he is someone that she can speak with and he conducts himself with decorum. The three persons, Gabriella Morris, Joan Gordon Webley, and Luther Buchanan, join MPs Angela Brown Burke and Anthony Hilton, who had previously declared their support and endorsement for Mark Golding and his presidential campaign. The Golding campaign had announced that their candidate will be nominated on October 23rd. And their message at the time on October 23rd was all about unity, rebuilding and reforming the People's National Party. The People's National Party will vote for their sixth president on November 7th, and the delegates of the PNP will then issue the mandate to either Lisa Hanna or Mark Golding as they decide who they would like to see become the next president of the People's National Party. Senator Floyd Morris has also extended his endorsement and support for the Mark Golding presidential campaign as well. Former Senate President Floyd Morris has declared his full support for Mark Golding. According to the former Senate President, Hanna needs to resolve discord in her constituency first before challenging for the presidency of the People's National Party. Whilst declaring his support for Mark Golding as the next president of the opposition People's National Party, and where he has described the St. Andrews Southern Member of Parliament as a consensus builder who can work with different individuals to get things done. Floyd Morris went on to state that this is a quintessential trait of a strategic leader and one that is needed for the PNP at this very moment. Morris has mentioned that he has managed to assess both of these candidates by looking at their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and their threats. In his analysis of Mark Golding and Lisa Hanna, who is the other contender for the presidency, Morris argues that the new PNP leader must be able to get all the different groups under one large tent that is called the PNP, and that they must be able to start the process of reunification immediately. Delegates of the political organization will vote on November 7th to replace Dr. Peter Phillips, who recently submitted his resignation as PNP president and opposition leader after the conclusion of the September 3rd parliamentary elections, in which the PNP suffered a massive loss of 14 to 49 seats to the Jamaica Labour Party. In the weeks that have been coming up close to the November 7th presidential elections, prominent delegates and officers of the PNP have been declaring their support and drawing their battle lines as they choose either candidate. But it seems that most of the support is coming in for Mark Golding. It was recently that a quarrel started in the PNP youth organization about which of the candidates they should be supporting. Recently, the PNP youth organization's General Secretary, Mr. Dexroy Martin, mentioned that he and 13 other delegates from the party's youth organization are in full support of Mark Golding. However, the claim coming from the PNP-YO Kingston Parish Chair, Kedron Allen, is that information is erroneous and that there's a possibility that maybe 10 out of the PNP-YO delegates are in support of Mark Golding. A statement has been made that there are 21 delegates currently from the PNP youth organization who are able to vote. But according to Allen, to say that 14 of them are in support of Comrade Golding is erroneous and not factual. It has been mentioned that there is a lot of disunity in the political organization, and this has been blamed as a factor that contributed to the general election loss in September. However, Morris, who is in full support of the current presidential candidate Mark Golding, previously supported Dr. Peter Phillips. In 2019, when he had to wrestle off the challenge from Peter Bunting, who is the former Central Manchester Member of Parliament. According to Morris, his decision to support Golding based on his assessment that the organizational imperative for the PNP now is that they need unity, reformation, and rebuilding. Morris had previously sided with Dr. Peter Phillips, whilst Mark Golding was in support of Peter Bunting in the September 2019 presidential elections. There are a number of groups in the People's National Party which are rotated around personalities rather than ideas. This is eating away at the potential of the organization. It has long been established that when the People's National Party is united, it is an unstoppable force. So even if the leader is popular as seen in 2006 with the election of Portia Simpson Miller as president, the movement will not win an election if there are deep internal divisions. According to Morris, Golding's performances in the Senate and as a government minister and his character and integrity will aid in the rebuilding of public trust in politicians. Floyd Morris further went on to mention that his reason for not supporting Lisa Hanna is rooted in her failure to resolve the differences that she has had with PNP supporters in her own constituency in Senan Southeastern. Various attempts have been made to solve the problems, but to no effect. As the leader for the constituency, Lisa should have demonstrated greater reapproachment with the comrades to settle the problems that have plagued the constituency for the last decade. This has not been done, and a constituency that has been most loyal and faithful to the PNP since 1944 has become a marginal seat under Lisa's stewardship, and therefore I, Floyd Morris, cannot support Lisa Hanna for the presidency of the People's National Party. His reference was to the fact that Lisa Hanna has been accused of being divisive, whilst holding on to the seat in the September 3rd general elections by a mere 31 votes over the JLP's Delroy Granston, who is practically a newcomer and a novice to politics, and who was able to be placed in the race just under 2 weeks prior to elections and was able to garner so many votes that he almost toppled Lisa Hanna from her seat in the constituency of Southeast Senan. According to Floyd, Lisa has to be accountable for this. When she took over the constituency in 2007, the PNP still had a comfortable margin of over 2,000 votes. According to Floyd Morris, the new PNP president will be required to traverse the island of Jamaica and assist in rebuilding the party. Significant work needs to be done over the next few years to rebuild the party and capacitate the workers of the movement. How does Lisa purport to do this when Senan Southeastern is under significant threat? And what will she do with those comrades with whom she has had significant disagreements over the years? Will they be pushed out of the PNP under her leadership of the national organization? These are comrades that Lisa went to the constituency and saw in 2007, and they were there before her entrance, working with Seymour Mullins and Aluna Samba. They and their families have built up that constituency as a bastion for the political organization over the years. And the moment they withdrew their support because of their issues with Lisa, we have seen the lowest margin of victory for the PNP in the constituency. He further went on to state that he did not arrive at his decision easily, as Golding was instrumental in Peter Bunting's 2019 challenge to Dr. Peter Phillips. And that challenge intensifies the deep divisions that currently affect the party and has contributed to Bunting's defeat in Manchester Central. However, according to Mr. Floyd Morris, someone has to break the intergenerational cycle of bitterness that is currently affecting the political organization. This is not the PNP that I grew up in, and I am prepared to set aside my anger with the challenge of 2019 and put my mark for Mark. I believe he is the best man to unite the PNP at this time. Floyd Morris is resolute in his decision to support and endorse Mark Golding for the next president of the People's National Party. Of course, he has chosen to throw aside their differences in regards to the 2019 Bunting challenge that would have caused major divisiveness within the party. But according to him, Lisa Hanna needs to address the issues in her constituency first, and therefore he cannot support her because she has brought down a safe seat to a marginal seat.